You do note in your book the unpredictable alignments and decisions, and I'll come back to that. Before we leave this issue that so concerns the public of abortion, on the Texas abortion case uh, uh, last week, you told NPR that you thought the decision to let that Texas law take effect was very, very wrong. It was a statement, pretty passionate, obviously on an issue that you care deeply about. Is there anything that, as the country thinks about this law, that you would want to say, based on your experience, that amplifies that statement that you made to NPR, that it was very, very wrong to let that take effect?
I did think it was very wrong. And I wrote a dissent. And dissent gave my reason. And the timing wasn't very good for my book because it's pretty hard to believe when a case like those come along that we're less divided than you might think. But there we are. Sometimes people, as I did in that case, do feel pretty strong. And then you're not going to get compromised. But what is important, and the single most important point that I hope people will take from that, though to repeat, it is only my point of view after 27 years. The single most important point is judges are not junior league politicians. They're judges. And maybe the political process worked to get them appointed. But that process wanted a person appointed whom the people supporting that person would think that individual will believe that the law, the jurisprudence, and it's complex, the law, it isn't computer programming. That person will believe that the law really requires these results, and we, the political people, believe the way they think about the law is more often going to favor us. Oh, they're wrong about that sometimes. Teddy Roosevelt appointed Oliver Wendell Holmes, and within a few months he had decided what Roosevelt thought was the wrong way in an antitrust case. And Roosevelt said, I could carve more backbone out of a judge out of a banana. All right. You see, he was annoyed. The same president appointed quite a few of the judges who, over the period I've been there, have been considered, quote, liberal, quote, judges, as appointed people who have been considered, quote, conservative, quote, judges. And we never trade votes. Absolutely not. You vote this way in this case, you vote that way in the other case. That doesn't happen. But it happens in the political process. So I want to see if a reader can take in. No, when the judge puts on that robe, he's not a junior league politician. But having said that, there are connections with politics. And so it's a pretty hard message to get across. It's, no, they're not politicians in robes. But wait, it's not computer science. And over long periods of time, the jurisprudence has changed in the court, and often to align more closely with the political views of most Americans. And think about the New Deal court of Franklin Roosevelt, and think how the Lochner court of Chief Justice Taft, formerly president, evolved during the 1930s. And think of how that court evolved and changed when Earl Warren, bravely and correctly, decided to enforce the Constitution and prohibit slavery, as that's what the Constitution said. But it's changed over time, there's no question, very slowly, as new people are appointed, as people with different political philosophies are appointed.